mic on. Test. Test. Oh. Test. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Test. Test. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Test. 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 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Test. Test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Put you right here. Yeah. Eleven or 10 or 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. OMG. Unable. What? 11 or 10 or 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. What is your problem? Why are you acting like, man? What is your problem? Why are you acting like Okay, so it looks like you're semi-working. That's good. That's good. That's good. All right, y'all. Give me. I'm gonna have to see if I can. All right, everybody. What's up with y'all? We're gonna. All right, temporarily, I'm gonna put you right there. All right. Why you're tripping when I get out of this area? And everything. Alright, everybody. It is 6:51 p.m. I meant to start at 5 for the dinner rush. I'm going to test this out for a few hours and see how this goes. If this works like it's supposed to, then I'm going to be doing this for the next couple of days and bring y'all along with me. I would prefer to do this during the day, but sometimes the apps don't want to give me stuff when I want to actually work. So test this out for a few hours tonight, see what happens. I am streaming on YouTube, DLive, and Twitch. At least I'm hoping I'm streaming on DLive, Twitch, and YouTube. We'll see what happens. Dang, it's a little weird already. Hopefully this properly works. I just have to keep an eye on everything and hope that this works, because editing these videos, me want to edit the videos because I have like 1 to 2 videos for y'all on YouTube, but as the title says, we're going to be doing setup, but it's not working properly. Figures. So I'm testing this way out until I can get that way set up and go from there. Yeah, definitely taking this one at a time to see if we can get this to work. Driving to the other side of town now. Since I'm streaming to YouTube and streaming to YouTube and YouTube and Twitch, I can't play any music, so I'll probably be listening to a bunch of podcasts, so that you're not just listening to air. So I'll put that on here in a few minutes. That way I have something to listen to as well while I'm testing this out with y'all. So everybody's having a good evening. I appreciate y'all, whatever platform y'all are watching this on. Like I said, I'm giving this a try. We're going to be doing DoorDash and Grubhub this evening.
Rose has become a national obsession in America and has always been around parts of Europe and other parts of the world. And on this episode, we get into all those wines because we are now into the spring. We're just on the precipice of that kind of weather. All four of these, Brandon, that I'm looking at, premium rosés. Premium rosé show. But yes, different grapes, because you can make them from a lot of different grapes and different parts of the world, which is important because the key to Wine Text TV is the number one rule about wine is keep trying new things until you find your next favorite. The number one mistake in wine is drinking the same thing over and over, whether it's the same wine or the same type of wine. What's the first wine we have here, Brad? Summer in the Bottle, Long Island, Jets Country. I give it 100 points. Summer in the Bottle, 2023 Rosé, 12.4% alcohol. Suggested retail price $28, on average about $25. We sell it for $22, but you can find it for $19 to $35 depending on where you find it on the Sniffy Sniff. Get a little bit of peaches, fuzzy peaches, which is always better than non-fuzzy peaches. Kind of like, you know those yellow cherries? You know the cherries that aren't red? A little bit of that, a little flower, summer breeze, very aromatically pleasing. Let's give it a whirl. Really solid acidity, well structured. The peach flavor really comes through, but I will say that it's a, you know how peaches, like, if you time them perfectly, are epic? But if you get them too early, they're like a brick. This is a little more like the brick kind, which means you're not getting as much of the sugar flavor. You're getting a little bit more of the acidity, which is fine. The body's medium to me. It's not the most complex rosé I've ever had. Rosés can really vary from, like, it tastes like straight water and you might as well just get a water with some lime in it, all the way to like really interesting white wine, complex white wine flavors. It's solid. I'm not blown away with it. I've had a lot of hype on this wine. I was excited to try this. I don't know, not the biggest fan. Yeah, I'm gonna give this wine 87 points. It's a solid score. You wouldn't be offended having this wine. 2022 Whispering Angel Rosé, 89 points. Wine Enthusiast, 89 points. Robert Parker, 88 points. Wine Spectator, 91 points. James Suckler, probably one of the most popular wines in the world right now, definitely in the rosé category. Let's get the Sniffy Sniff. Aromatically, it's more interesting than Summer in the Bottle for me. It's got more of a kind of a orange peel, beautiful strawberry on the nose. Aromatically, pretty exciting wine in comparison. There's a little more freshness and spritz, a little jump to it, kind of like a Perrier with an ounce of like a lemon squeeze, so it's like fresh, it feels vibrant, which is great. Let's give it a whirl. Smoother wine, finishes quite strong, a little more complex as well. This is definitely a step up. I'm right in line with Wine Enthusiast and Robert Parker, 89 points. Doesn't have the complexity and the explosive deliciousness that I look for in some of my rosés, but I think all the critics are kind of in the same range, and I'm right there as well. Usually, my palate tends to be a little bit different, and sometimes I'm all over the place, but I'm in pocket here. I think it's an 89-point wine. Look, again, in a world where it's 17 on the low end, at a store, at a discounter, at like a big outlet, or like some weird states where you can get a deal, this wine really much more is a $19 to $25 wine. And again, 80 or 90 or 100 on restaurant lists, or like 20 bucks, 15 bucks a glass. Again, the purpose of this show, this is a solid wine. Both wines are solid. They're solid. But like, think of it as like dating and marrying. Do you want to marry someone that's solid, or do you want to marry someone that's like your forever person? Let's move on. Daniel Crochet 2022 Sancerre Rosé, suggested retail 30, on average 23 bucks. I love rosé that comes from Pinot Noir. The complexity of that grape does shine through in a lot of rosés. Sniffy Sniff. Right away, that Pinot Noir is coming through. This is deeply the most kind of like profound, aromatic, serious nose. This is almost like red wine rosé on the nose. Little hints of cassis, which is interesting. Catches my attention. Little pineapple and mango, so it's like tropical and red. Like, I guess the best way I could put it is like, that I think will land for everybody is, I think of strawberries and cherries and raspberries mixed with mangoes and guava and pineapple. So tropical and red is what I would say it smells like. Let's give it a look. so far. Very complex, really good acidity. Sour watermelon on the mid palate. That might be confusing to you, but like, think of the water piece. So you know a piece of watermelon? You know how the top is sweeter, but as you get lower, it becomes like more watered down. You may think that's bad, but it's actually very complex and an interesting flavor. I get a little bit of that. White asparagus. So again, you're getting a little vegetal thing. It's not just a fruit thing. And if you know the difference between white asparagus and green asparagus, you start imagining what that brings to the table. And beautiful strawberries and cream. This is silky, this is elegant, this is complex, very well made. I'm a big fan of this wine. I'm gonna go 92 points on this rosé. Brilliant job, great job by Daniel Crochet. I like it a lot. Domaine La Safou, Bondo Rosé, Bondo.
I am gonna stop over here in the dollar store parking lot and get ready to cut the 2 apps on. I kind of want to cut Instacart on because sometimes there's some last minute bangers. But that's fine, that's fine. We'll just stick with Grubhub and DoorDash tonight.
Let's call it sharing wine. Action. My turn. Let's give it a sniffy sniff.
This cargo van, I got this cargo van strictly to do my apps.
This is stinky.
Whether it's Roadie,
Ooh, this smells like
Dispatch,
ooh, this excites me. This is like you played 3 hours of basketball
or Instacart,
and then you
or
went to
Grubhub.
Cheese department and got something from Aaron.
I got this so I have enough space. I can do doors to groceries to restaurants and so on and so forth. So we'll see how today goes. If I'm lucky, seeing how late it is, if I'm lucky, then we'll have possibly 100 or so tonight, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
In like the summer, around this time when we play a lot of basketball, and did no laundry, none, 0 laundry done. Had to wait till like I charmed some girl to like do it for me because I didn't know how to do laundry. Still really don't. This is stinky. You smell it? It's blue cheese stinky. It's sock and blue cheese stinky. Let's give it a whirl. Wow, it is stinky and smooth. Holy crap, that's smooth. Wow. This is... So that sock with the blue cheese in it, when you ate it, it also was pure silk. Like you bought the most expensive silk sheets. If Louis Vuitton put out silky, silky, silky sheets, that's how smooth this wine is. This is a really interesting wine. To begin with, I like stinky wines. But it does go away a little bit. And the cantaloupe and the kiwi, it's smooth, right? It's you liked it, right? Look at his face. Like you liked it, right? Like it is smooth. It is smooth. I'm gonna go 91 points on this wine. I like this wine a lot. I think this is a really well-structured rosé, very complex. And so it's gonna be this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 4. That's the rankings of the show. Good little rosé show. We're answering some questions. Remember, everybody watching on Instagram and YouTube, ask your wine questions, and you may be on the next show. Let's see that part of the show. What do you got?
Why do you think wine gets such interest in terms of its flavor and depth and all that stuff, but not other drinks?
Well, I think other drinks do. I think we've seen that explosion in bourbon and whiskey, and tequila for that matter. Vodka is the only one that really doesn't, because it's really, so I would argue, look, the biggest thing about wine that's different than all the other spirits is it's a farming product. It changes every year. You know how insane that is, everyone? Imagine if Coca-Cola and Poland Spring and the Big Mac and Doritos and a Shake Shack burger and like anything else you consume changed every year. It is the only consumable product that you're like, I like this Pinot Noir. And then next year you're like, I don't like this Pinot Noir. Because it's the coolest, wine is one of the coolest things in the world. It's like a brand that changes every year. Have I run out of time?
Ray's leaving.
What's that?
Ray's leaving. You were supposed to stop by and say hi. Ray Dahlia.
Oh, got it. And was I supposed to be done 5 minutes ago? Wonderful. I'll be there in 1 second.
Well, he's leaving right now.
Okay, should I go say bye? Okay. I'll be right back. Sorry, Ray. Next question.
All around from Brazil, I know that you have a special relationship with Insignia. How is it now that Napa Cab wines are skyrocketing and a lot of people are more into balanced wines than over-the-top wines?
Yeah, I mean, Insignia is a special wine to me. The 94 Insignia was one of my favorite wines of all time. 93 Insignia is one of the wines I bought so many cases. My dad was borderline scared, and I sold it all. That wine we were selling for $39.99. That wine's like, how much now, Brand?
Over 300.
It's over $300 a bottle. So, you know, my career was built on underpriced attention. Underpriced wines that got huge. Look, Napa's really challenging. It's gotten expensive. But yeah, people are looking for more balanced wines. But I don't want to downplay big bombastic wines either. There's a time and a place. I only drink balanced wines. So wait, you're telling me that you only have main courses, but you've never had dessert? Like, there's a time and a place. These massive bombastic Napa wines or Barossa Shirazes, like with a cigar with your buddy that you were friends with for 20 years on a summer night, shooting the breeze about your lives, that's the wine you want. I don't want something that makes me think. I want something bombastic. Going to a great steakhouse in New York where the steak is like enormous and it's juicy, or in Vegas with your boys or your girls and you like are getting a big juicy steak. I don't want a balanced Bordeaux or I want like big juicy explosive Barossa or Napa wine. So time and place. But have they gotten expensive? They have. Thank you for watching episode 5 of Wine Text TV. Remember, I'm trying as many wines as possible to guide you on your journey, but trust your palate. Don't like these wines because of me. Go try them and find out if our palates match. Keep trying new wines. Keep exploring. We'll see you on the next episode of Wine Text TV. Hey everybody, before we go into today's podcast, I wanted to say that a new book is coming, the follow-up to Jab, 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 Right Hook, originally called Jab, 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 Left Hook, but I finally captured what I've been doing for the last 20 years as an entrepreneur, as a creator and influencer, as an operator of a marketing company that works with Fortune 5,000, 500 companies, and really the punchline of what I'm seeing in society, which is day trading attention, how to actually build brand and sales in the new social media world. I'm really proud of this book. When I read it, and some of you follow my social enough to see the clips, when I read it in studio,
Just a note, this series contains references to suicide. If you or someone you know is struggling with their mental health...
Alright, y'all, so I cut both Grubhub and DoorDash on. Let's go on and try to see if we can get some orders. If I can't get it on this side of town, then we'll go on and go on the other side of town.
It's May 1968 in the Andes Mountains,
Let's go.
Peru. A helicopter touches down on a rocky ledge near Machu Picchu. The door opens and a woman's long tan leg emerges.
Hope everybody's having a good night.
Sandal,
I appreciate y'all for coming in. If y'all randomly come in.
Small metal rings connected to the sandals glints in the blazing mountain sun. The pilot yells out to her, "Keep low! Watch out for those blades!" The woman is a model for Vogue. She and another model are here with an
I'm listening to a podcast since I can't listen to music, which is cool.
The group trots away from the landing
It's a
site.
podcast I listen to every so often anyway, so
The peaks that poke out of
hopefully
snow
today
like
does
expanses
good.
of clouds. The photographer, a man named John Cowan, sets his camera case on the ground and turns to the Vogue editor. "This is perfect. You get the hair and makeup done, and I'll set up over there by the wall." The helicopter pilot climbs out of the helicopter and walks over to them. "Like I said before, we gotta leave the mountaintop by 5 o'clock. It's dangerous up here after dark. There are wild animals who don't give a rat's that you're with Vogue. And if we stay later than that, the Army search teams will assume we're stranded and come look for us. Believe me, you don't want to mess with the Peruvian Army." The editor opens a makeup bag and rummages for lipstick.
Don't worry, I don't want to be stuck up here after dark any more than you do.
The models strike dramatic poses on the uneven mountain rock. They're wearing bohemian maxi dresses and draped in fringed llama wool shawls, suede fur-lined coats, turquoise beaded necklaces, and gold jewelry. Against the backdrop, they look as if they are floating on clouds, just as John Cowan envisioned when he pitched the location months ago. But at 5 p.m., Cowan still hasn't nailed his cover shot. He shoots photo after photo, shaking his head in frustration. "Nice, fabulous. Yeah, like that. Now look over your shoulder in Machu Picchu, like a lover. Haha, yes, you're perfect. Oh, it's gorgeous. Hold. The helicopter pilot lurks nearby. Unable to contain himself, he marches over to Cowan and grabs the photographer's arm. Okay, that's it. We gotta get out of here. Cowan shakes off the pilot. He keeps shooting. Don't touch me again. I'm almost there. Besides, it won't be dark for hours. The pilot stamps his foot. Once the sun drops behind those peaks, night falls, the animals come out. I'm leaving now. You're on your own. He storms off and gets into the helicopter. Cowan and the rest of the crew watch the helicopter lift off and quickly disappear below the cloud cover. Oh well, I'm sure he's just bluffing. He'll come back to pick us up. But darkness falls, and the pilot doesn't return. The crew decides to head into the mountain forest, down a path they think will lead to a base camp. The models trip and slide in their high heels and furs. The temperature drops. They begin to shiver. One model points to a little hollow in the ground nearby.
My poor feet. I can't go any farther. Let's grab your weapons and head over.
The group gathers securely. The models surrender.
$16 for Taco Bell and Wawa, but it's taking me in a direction I don't want to be in, so I'm gonna let it go. So that was Grubhub, gave me a double, 16, 18 for Taco Bell and a Wawa.
Around their little resting place are dozens of mountain lion tracks. By the time the Explorer's photo spread hits newsstands in October 1968, it's rumored to have cost Vogue's parent company, Condé Nast, close to $1 million. It's one in a long line of exorbitant high wire acts in an industry known for excess, extravagance, and waste.
All right, so we're gonna do a Chick-fil-A one for $10.24, going in the direction I'm actually going. Yeah. Thank you. And I think Chick-fil-A went to the other side of the street, so now I gotta.
Their longtime competitor, Harper's Bazaar,
I'm gonna see, but I think they went to the other side.
will slip right into their prized seat in fashion's front row.
So we turned down a double for $16 from Taco Bell and Wawa. There's a restaurant called Wawa, not the gas station. But now we're gonna do a $10 order for Chick-fil-A. For Grubhub. This is still Grubhub.
Original content that's sure to spark your imagination. Next up on my own Audible,
I'ma pause.
Sierra Greer called Annie Bot. It's a novel that's a completely fresh take on artificial
Pause
intelligence and all the hopes
DoorDash.
and fears we ascribe to it. Sure to spark
And
your own imagination and maybe rethink
deal
some of
with-
the things you've heard about AI.
Okay, so
And
it
since you're
looks
listening
like
to this
Chick-fil-A
podcast,
might
well,
have
you
moved
might
across
wanna
the
check out
street.
The Art of Business Wars. Yes, that is on Audible.
So
too.
we're gonna go
Lots of
on
great
and
ideas,
see
especially if you're an entrepreneur. And as an Audible member,
if
every
I
month you get
can
to choose one title
get
like either of these
to the new
keep
spot.
for yourself. New members
They
can
were
try
in the
Audible
Walmart
now
parking lot, which is on the right,
Head on over to
and now they're in the
audible.com/BW.
BJ's parking lot, which is on the
Text
left.
500.
So
That's audible.com/BW.
we're gonna try to see if I can get over.
Text BW to 500 and try Audible.
I'm not exactly in a super small car, so
What separates the true leaders from the rest? It's not just vision and ambition. It's the courage to take the road less traveled. For those with
Oh, no, it's not
passion
open
in life, lead by example. There's the Range
oh
Rover
nope,
Sport.
it's not open yet, so I'm good.
Price for sophisticated refinement meets visceral power. Dynamic launch delivers maximal torque.
All right, so it's still over here on the right.
And with rapid DC charging and an estimated all-electric range of 48 miles, the Range Rover Sport plug-in electric hybrid delivers thrilling.
They didn't move across the street to the left and the left yet, so we're gonna go over here to the Home Depot and Walmart parking lot to get to Chick-fil-A.
At LandRoverUSA.com. From Wondery, I'm David Brown, and this is Business Wars.
All right, I am am going to park across the street because we
In our
are
new series,
not
we track the highs and lows of Vogue, the world's largest and most influential
going to deal with that
fashion
parking lot. Not
publication.
in a car
As it
this
defends
size,
its
we're not.
glittering reign over a global magazine market
Yeah,
worth
yeah.
roughly $100 billion. For more than a century, Vogue and its parent company, Condé Nast, have squared off with rival Hearst magazines, and more recently, digital media interlopers like InStyle and WhoWhatWhere.com. At the heart of that battle is Vogue's editor-in-chief, Anna Wintour, a larger-than-life figurehead who's been...
All right. I'm going to pause you real quick. This is going to feel a little strange because it's my phone, but... And I haven't did this in a minute, so... Right here. And put you right there. Okay, where are you? Right there. All right, croutons. So, okay, are you not gonna... There we go. Aren't you so nice? There we go. Oh, dang. You hear me smacking for days. I'm sorry y'all hear me smacking. Oh, dang. You hear me smacking for days. I'm sorry y'all hear me smacking. Oh, dang, you hear me smacking for days. Sorry. Okay, that should work. Ooh, baby, sunshine, you're gonna make things easier. Ooh, child. Oh, man. Come on. You gotta see if you're actually working. All right, y'all. I'm gonna keep y'all in here real quick for this one because I just realized that I gotta double check and see if my hotspot is working. So give me 1 second. And I will always love cheese. Love cheese. Alright, so got the Grubhub order. Alright, we got the Grubhub order from Chick-fil-A. Let's go on and see how far away it is. And I will always be cheese. About to throw this gum away. Alright, so it says we're give or take 12 minutes away. Okay, where's my... Okay, there we go.
The helm of the magazine for more than 3 decades and played an outsized role in shaping the fashion industry and its profitability. First, we're going back to a time before first reign. In its formative years, Vogue evolved from a small illustrated journal about New York's high society to a sophisticated women's magazine with international reach and influence. And under the control of cutthroat William Randolph Hearst.
Alright, y'all, let's go and drop this bad boy off. See y'all, and we'll be there in give or take 12 minutes.
Every chance it got. By the late 60s, the excess of these magazines was jarringly out of touch. Now, at the dawn of the 70s, a recession is taking hold. Department store sales are in the gutter, and the glossies are hurting. Readers aren't reacting well to the media dictating trends. They want the freedom to decide who to be and how to spend their money. As the war in Vietnam drags on, the age of protest is in, and the trickle-down era of fashion is out. Or is it? This is episode 1, Front Row. A bitter winter day in 1970 in Manhattan. The doors of the elevators in Cosmopolitan's reception area open and disgorge a dozen women. They're dressed in jeans and military surplus, like a ragtag band of rebels. Protesters rush into the magazine's small lobby. One woman walks behind the reception desk.
Are you gonna get past me? Come on, baby, let's go, let's go.
The woman reaches past her with the phone, lifts the receiver.
We're taking over the magazine! Let's call in or out. Step away from the desk.
Cosmopolitan's editor-in-chief Helen Gordon Brown strides into the cramped hall. She's wearing a leopard print silk shirt, and her hair is styled in an elaborate dark-haired woman in a men's button-down blue Oxford shirt steps out of the clutch of protesters and walks towards Brown. The others follow in a pack. She wears a pair of oversized aviator-style glasses. Her name is Kate Millett. Time magazine has just anointed her the leader of the women's liberation movement.
Miss Brown, we are here to protest Cosmopolitan's sexual objectification of women. Our magazine oppresses women by featuring endless articles about how to please men and look like an artificial Cosmo girl instead of a healthy, natural adult woman. We demand you give over part of the magazine to us so we can teach women to love and be themselves.
Millett and her followers surge towards Brown. She backs up until she's pressed into a radiator against the wall. But she isn't threatened.
This is nonsense. Have any of you even read the magazine? We are very pro-lib. You can be liberated and also dress well, but no matter what you think, no one occupies editorial space in Cosmo unless you can write well. And I'll be the judge of that. I'll read whatever articles you submit, but you have to leave now.
In the next few issues, Brown runs stories on abortion and an excerpt from Millett's book, Sexual Politics. It's a
be right where we need to be.
It's colder than a witch's in here. Somebody give me a glass for this. The assistant hurries off. Reynolds unties the belt of his terrycloth robe and drops it on the floor. He stretches out on his side on a bearskin rug and props himself up on his elbow. He's 36, tanned, fit, and covered in a thick pelt of dark hair. He pats the bear's nose. I'm almost as hairy as this poor guy is. I need my pack of cigarillos from the robe pocket. And an ashtray, please. A camera assistant hands him a cigarillo. Reynolds clamps his teeth down on the cigar holder and grins. The photographer takes his place in front of Reynolds and tilts his head. He's done lots of covers for Cosmo, but his subjects are usually women. He considers his words carefully. Wonderful, Mr. Reynolds. Could you please rest your free hand between your thighs so that it covers your, the main attraction? Reynolds grins even more devilishly. He slings his arm in front of his chest and wedges his hand between his legs. The photographer peers through the viewfinder of his camera. Fabulous, fabulous, just like that. Perfect. I can tell this won't take long. An hour and a half a liter of vodka later, they're done. The photographer knows he's got a shot that will make history. And Helen Gurley Brown makes sure it does. She splashes a bright orange banner across the bottom right corner of the April issue's cover. It reads, Cosmo's famous extra bonus takeoff. At last, a male nude centerfold. The naked truth about guess who? The issue sells out instantly. Clerks in some small towns keep it behind the counter or refuse to stock it at all. Women across the country take the centerfold to their bathroom mirrors, and college students put it up on their dorm room walls. By the end of the year, Cosmopolitan's circulation is 1.7 million, and advertising revenues rocket to $430,000 a month. Vogue's circulation and revenues are still flat. The publisher Cy Newhouse is taking the magazine in a very different direction. It's 1976 in downtown Manhattan. Vogue's new editor-in-chief, Grace Mirabella, sits with her husband at a dinner party at Andy Warhol's factory on Union Square West. Warhol's multicolored skull prints hang on the walls, and red votive candles shed a dim glow on members of the fashion elite like Diane von Furstenberg, Halston, and Bianca Jagger. Dazed models stumble past. Mirabella is 47 and wears a long, demure knit shirt dress. Compared to most of Warhol's bohemian guests, she looks like the headmistress of a girls' private school. She stabs a greasy asparagus spear with a fork and holds it in front of her husband.
Started tonight with 10 buckers. Buckaroonies. Buckaroonies.
Her husband points at his drink. At least the liquor isn't watered down. Everybody's toasted. Warhol freelanced for years as a graphic artist for Harper's Bazaar and Glamour before he became a famous artist himself. He always wrapped his artwork in torn-up brown supermarket bags, so they nicknamed him Andy Paperbag.
All right.
Vogue staffers find it hard to believe he's a celebrity now, hobnobbing with A-listers like Mirabella and her tablemate, socialite and political reporter Marietta Tree. Tree raises her glass to Mirabella from across the table. She's quite drunk.
Grace! Where are you from again? Honestly, Marietta, don't you remember? Newark, New Jersey.
Tree's caught everyone's attention at their table, and others nearby. She looks around the room in feigned astonishment.
New Jersey! Can you imagine? The editor of Vogue is from New Jersey.
Mirabella feels as if her face is on fire. She thinks about how someone told her that Warhol said Vogue promoted her because they want to go middle class. The East Coast elite look down on Mirabella's middle class roots. But indeed, that's exactly why she was chosen as the new editor-in-chief. She's determined to remake Vogue for 9-to-5 working women who happily buy American sportswear. Her redesign features articles from feminists like Gloria Steinem. It also features less coverage of high society New York parties and more office-appropriate, wearable, affordable fashions. And it's a home run. By the end of the decade, Vogue's circulation more than doubles, and gross revenue nearly triples from $9 million in 1973
All right.
to
Looks like we're
$27
almost there.
by 1980. But designers like Oscar de la Renta complain that Mirabella's fashion is boring, and Vogue still hasn't caught up with Cosmopolitan's massive readership of over 1.7 million. If Mirabella doesn't get with the razzle-dazzle and conspicuous consumption of the 1980s, Cosmo will push pedestrian Vogue right off the catwalk. For good. We spend a lot of our lives at work. It's time to find ways to enjoy it. Canva makes work more visual, more productive, and dare we say it, more fun. With Canva, you can design captivating presentations, docs, whiteboards, and videos. Wow your audience and achieve your goals whatever department you work in.
Okay, so I passed the
Canva
house.
makes you and
Lovely,
your work
lovely.
no design experience needed. You'll love what you can easily design with Canva, and so will everyone else. Love your work at canva.com. Are you tired of the eternal question, what's for dinner? Yeah.
Alright,
we've
I'll
all
just
been
keep
there.
straight so I
Temptation
can
to
make a
order takeout
U-turn.
is very strong. But if you're craving the comfort and flavor of a home-cooked meal without the stress of planning and all that prep work, let me tell you, Home Chef has your back. My favorite, the ancho-crusted sirloin with chipotle pesto, butter, and potatoes. It is so satisfying. 30 minutes from out of the box and onto the dinner table. And when I want even faster, well, no sacrifice there. With a great assortment of ready-made meals to choose from that my whole family loves. And prices better than any other I've found. Quality second to none.
Alright, so we're in the neighborhood we need to be, y'all.
Try Home Chef.
Got my
And for a
mask
limited time,
on,
Home Chef is offering my
just in case they
listeners
come to the
18
door.
free meals, plus
Depending
free
on where we
dessert
go
for
to
life.
next, I'll bring
And of
y'all
course,
in the
free
restaurant
shipping on
with
the
me.
first box. Just go to homechef.com/BW and check it out.
Feels a
for
little
yourself.
weird bringing my
That's
phone in versus my camera.
homechef.com/BW.
So we'll see what
18
happens.
free meals and free dessert for life.
Let me try to
You
see if
gotta
I can
be an
find this
active
place.
subscriber to receive that free dessert.
Where is it?
It's a sweltering afternoon in August 1983 in Midtown. Vogue editorial
I
director
don't
Alex
understand.
Lieberman
Is it
sits at
this
his
house
usual
right
table in
here?
the grill room of the Four Seasons restaurant. He's a spry 70 years old, his once dark hair and mustache now white. He turns to his lunch date, New York Magazine's
I
fashion
am so
editor,
tired of people
33-year-old
having their
Alan
lights
Wintour.
off.
Miss Wintour,
when they
I
order
thoroughly
food.
enjoyed your photo spread in the current issue.
So tired
What a
of it.
great idea to invite artists to create paintings inspired by the fall collections. Oh, fabulous work. You know, it reminded me of the kind of pieces we used to feature in Vogue when we had geniuses like Salvador Dali guest edit issues.
Okay.
You know, the magazine felt like a trip to
I
a world-class
arrived.
museum back then. Wintour picks at her steak with her fork. She's decided not to wear her trademark oversized sunglasses
Come on,
for this
man.
all-important first lunch
Do
meeting
your job,
with the
phone.
man known as the creative force behind
I'm
Vogue.
here.
She's on her best behavior, too. Before she landed the job at New York Mag, she'd been fired by Harper's Bazaar for being too headstrong, sexy, and fashion-forward. If she blows this opportunity with one of the most powerful men at Condé Nast, her career could be over.
Where are you at?
She
No,
ducks her
that's
head
not
and
what I
looks up at
want.
Lieberman
Where?
from
There
under
we
her
go.
long bangs.
Thank you.
Lieberman smiles at the seemingly shy younger woman in her red Dior suit with the trendy large shoulder pads. I'd like to see more of that kind of riding at our shop. Have you ever considered working for Vogue? Wintour puts down her fork. She's got a hunch Lieberman will like her dishy story about Vogue's current editor.
Actually, Mr. Lieberman, I met with Grace about 2 years ago, before I went to New York Mag. I think she found me a bit too direct for her taste.
Lieberman picks up his glass of scotch and leans back in his chair. It's a glass of milk. In fact, play. She's barely touched.
Grace asked me what position I'd be interested in at Vogue. I wanted a job.
I I wish I'd been on the wall at that meeting. I can just imagine how that but my dear, we need fresh blood at the magazine. I think we can figure out a way to ease that. Just for her. His plan is to let the two women compete against each
When
other.
people deliver to y'all's houses, man, try to turn the lights on.
And she'll soon be blindsided by an even bigger.
It's crazy. I don't mind delivering at night, but man, y'all gotta be cutting these lights on, man.
1987 in Manhattan.
All right,
Company
let's
chairman
go on and get out of here.
Alex Lieberman and Grace Mirabella sit at the long table in the boardroom of Condé Nast headquarters. At 60, Newhouse looks a decade younger in his casual
Come on,
polo shirt.
turn the light
He's
off.
still rather socially awkward,
Turn
but he has the
DoorDash back
self-assurance
on.
that he knows what he's worth. Along with his brother, he now runs an empire worth upwards of $7.5 billion.
All right.
He sounds worried. We've got to come up with a strategy for how to deal with Elle magazine. They only launched the U.S. edition last year, but they already have over 800,000 subscribers. And with Rupert Murdoch's billions behind them, there's no telling how high that number will go. I see them as a direct threat to both. Elle launched in 1945 in Paris and grew into one of Europe's foremost fashion publications. In 1985, French company Hachette Publications partnered with media mogul Rupert Murdoch to put out a U.S. edition that is now catching on like wildfire, and every month adding more ad pages. Magazines aimed at younger women with features on chunky accessories, streetwear, and avant-garde designers. Its circulation and revenue already eclipsed Harper's Bazaar, and now
That
it's
I
catching
was
up to
crispy.
Vogue. But
You
Mirabella
said
is calm.
that I was
Sorry.
doing
We have
it.
a new record
Yeah,
of
yeah,
3,200
yeah,
pages
yeah.
in advertising this year. More than any other monthly magazine in the country. Our readers are women of money and taste. All caters to the lowest common denominator,
Baby,
the
eat some
MTV crowd.
chicken and some
Not a
turkey.
market at all. It's trendy, cartoony, with almost no text, and full of jokey young girl models. It's so cute.
Right.
It'll burn bright and then fade out when everybody gets tired of huge hoop earrings and neon pink tutus.
Newhouse flips through some pages in a file folder in front of him on the table. Like the late Condé Nast, the company's founder and namesake, he's a big believer in research. But Grace, this report says that Elle's readers are younger and more affluent than the average Vogue reader. Elle's positioned to siphon away our advertisers one by one. Lieberman has already decided. He wants Wintour at the top of Vogue's masthead. He sees an opportunity to pile it on Mirabella. I'm afraid I'm with Cy. We're vulnerable, Grace. I know you like sophisticated minimalist fashion, but 20-somethings are wearing bright graffiti prints and tons of cheap necklaces and cone-shaped bras like, what's her name, that singer, Donna. Everything's younger, faster, and flashier now. You're aiming at women more like yourself. Stay career-oriented types, and I gotta tell you, the book shows it. I hate to say it, but it looks tired. Mirabella gathers her notepad and stands up. She's clearly rattled. She really can't stand the shallow 1980s conspicuous consumption culture.
I'm sorry, but I have an editorial meeting. I'll work on loosening up or lightening up or whatevering up the pages. But Vogue isn't Vogue if it's not classy.
She doesn't know it yet, but Newhouse is even more enthralled.
$9 from Wendy's.
Compared to Mirabella, the young Brit's the epitome of
Nah,
everything
we're not
stylish
gonna
and on the
do
moment.
that.
And just like Cy, Wintour doesn't do small talk. In fact, she hardly talks at all. Meanwhile at Cosmo, Helen Gurley Brown barely
So,
has
we're
time
not
to be threatened
doing-
by Elle. Things are going south for other reasons.
I ended up cutting DoorDash back on, but we're not gonna
Whether
do
you're scouring
the
business financial
Grubhub at
sites,
$9.
listening to economics podcasts like this one till your ears ring, you'll find there's there's no surefire secret to successfully managing your company's finances for the future. Turns out, you might just need to pair with PNC Corporate and Institutional Banking, whose team of dedicated relationship managers bring 160 years of experience, pragmatic advice, and an array of tools and tech to scale to any size business. In fact, they're so tuned into what you need.
$13 from Grubhub for KFC.
Ringing in your ears,
so we're gonna do that one. Let's go on and go to KFC, yo.
PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC and PNC Bank are registered marks of the PNC Financial Services Group, Inc. PNC. Copyright 2024, the PNC Financial Services Group, Inc. All rights reserved. Every shelter pet deserves a second chance, and you're making it possible for thousands of them every day. Because when you feed your pet Hills, you help feed a shelter pet, which makes them healthy, happy, and more adoptable, changing their life forever so they can change yours. Over 14 million shelter pets fed and adopted. Science did that. Visit hillspet.com/podcast.
Said I was crispy.
It's a frigid gray morning in January 1988 in Midtown. 300 protesters from the AIDS activist group ACT UP march in front of the landmark Hearst Magazine building on 8th Avenue. It's 6 stories of sand-colored limestone with an imposing Baroque arched entrance composed of fluted columns and statues representing comedy, tragedy, and other arts. The men and women are protesting an article in the current issue. It features a psychiatrist who makes claims about AIDS that are unsupported by medical research. The article's unfactual, medically flawed disinformation is causing backlash from nearly every corner of the culture. The marchers carry signs with slogans like, "Don't go to bed with Cosmo," and "Helen Gurley Brown, does having it all include AIDS?" Brown stands at the window in her office and gazes down on the picketers below. An intern stands next to her. Brown's silky chestnut hair is teased into a trendy 80s big hair look. The locks rise high above her forehead and swoop down in large curls that rest on her shoulders. People call it a cobra. It's actually a wig.
Oh, for God's sake, somebody's always protesting something we do.
The young intern turns to face her boss. She and other staffers
would do that order, but I got an order for Grubhub that is all the way in a different direction. So I can't take that order, which means as soon as DoorDash is done timing me out, I have to pause or sign out, either or. There we go. Alright, so it let me pause. Let's go on and do this, and then hopefully you can cut my thing back
with a
on.
bow on her high-necked silk blouse. Her hand freezes, and the fabric ties slip through her fingers and hang loose on her chest. Since Wintour joined Condé Nast, she's run British Vogue and House and Garden, and seems to have botched both assignments. And at Rogue, a combination of the words British and Vogue, the staff refers to her reign as the winter of their discontent, and the press mocked her couture and celebrity-heavy remake of House and Garden, dubbing it House and Garment and Vanity Chair, a play on Gun Fair, another Condé Nast title. Mirabella can't believe this featherweight could unseat her.
I have no idea at all. I'll call you back as soon as I'm done with you.
In a daze, she stumbles into Alex Lieberman's office. He's her direct boss at Vogue, but also a close friend. She and her husband have often spent time with the Liebermans at their home in Connecticut and visited them in Europe on summer vacations. He's sitting at his desk, doing nothing, as if he was waiting for her. Grace, I know why you're here, and I'm afraid it's true. I'm sorry, I tried to stop it, but I'm just too late. Mirabella points a shaky finger at her.
What's that supposed to mean? Don't go hiding behind your age or mine either. I'm only 59. I don't deserve this. When I started here, our ad pages were in the toilet. Now they're worth $80 million a year. Elle doesn't clear half that. And you don't even have the courtesy to tell me to my face?
Lieberman shrugs. It wasn't my idea. I gotta tell you, I had nothing to do with it. And to be fair, I warned you that your endless covers of close-ups of models with perfect blush and perfect hair were just too predictable. And that you should have cultivated more of a relationship with Cy, but you avoided him. Anyway, you should go talk to him now. Mirabella turns on her heel and numbly rides the elevator back to her floor. She knows talking to Cy will do no good. She's never had any rapport with him. And he's famous for avoiding confrontations, too. He makes other people do his dirty work. And everyone at the magazine knows the tragic story of a woman who worked at Vogue for more than 40 years. She found out she was fired when she walked into her empty office one day to find it empty. Overnight, movers had packed it up and put all her things in storage. Not long after, she jumped out the window of her studio apartment to her death. And now, despite having triple circulation and gross revenue during her 17 years at the top of the masthead, Mirabella is out, and Wintour, the quiet young Brit in Chanel suits, has finally got her dream job. November 1988. A printing supervisor stands in the middle of the factory floor and examines the cover of the November issue of Vogue. It's hot off the press. He's been in charge of the Vogue account for years now, but this cover looks like nothing he's ever seen. It resembles something his teenage daughter might read, like 17. He weaves his way through the plant to his cramped office in the back, picks up the phone and keys in the number for Vogue's production manager.
Hey Joe, what's up? Everything okay with the print?
I'm not sure. I'm calling to check we've got the right cover. It looks like a mistake. I'm afraid we screwed up. It's well, not Vogue. The cover photo shows a young woman wearing a $10,000 black silk Christian Lacroix sweater emblazoned with a large, brightly colored bejeweled
give me a second.
and a pair of low-slung Guess jeans. She has wind-tossed messy hair,
quiet.
a toothy grin, and a bare midriff. It looks like a candid shot snapped on a city street. Headlines including Men, the New Himbos, and Fashion, Hurt but Not Haughty. surround her in a blizzard of bold fuchsia.
All right, y'all. So
It's Anna Wintour's
I'm gonna
a
try.
high-low mix of
My
designer
phone
fashion
is
with small
dying.
brand denim, and the
What are the
eye-catchingly
odds?
busy graphics could not be more different from Mirabella's spare close-ups of studio models with every hair shellacked into place. And the new design is a warning shot across Elle magazine's bow. It creates massive buzz. Cy Newhouse sends Anna a note that reads, "You knocked it out of the park, Anna."
Bless me, bless me. All right. Phone is dying, so I gotta put y'all. Let me make sure y'all are actually charging. Come on, it would be nice if you showed me that I'm charging. There we go. You're painting my booty, phone. Let me see. Okay, good. Alright. So, I'm gonna flip the oh, no you didn't. We're gonna flip the camera. And it would be nice if you just... Okay. Come on. There we go. Alright, y'all. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go on KFC. I would take y'all in this time, but the phone is dying. And I don't want to take that chance. So I'll be right back. So they surprisingly had the order ready. I just had to use the bathroom. So go on and get ready to drop this off. And come on. There you go. What are you doing? There you go. I'm gonna end up putting the jacket or the hoodie on because it is chilly tonight, sir. Alright. So we're gonna drive closer towards the mall now to drop this off. Let's see how long this is gonna be. I might try to stop by the dollar store before they close. Okay, so alright.
I'm so proud. Wintour takes full advantage of Newhouse's goodwill to ditch staffers and photographers she considers out of fashion, including persuading him to spend nearly $500,000 to buy out the remainder of Richard Avedon's contract. And she doubles down on youth and trendiness with a cover
Alright, so it says
featuring
it's going to
Madonna.
be 22 to
It's a
23
risky
minutes.
move in an age when
Let's go
fashion
on and
magazines
drop this
rely
bad boy
models
off on the other
rather
side of
than
town.
celebrities. Harper's Bazaar looks more dated than ever in third place behind newcomer Elle and a resurging Vogue. But they're also betting on a Brit to restore them to their former glory. It's 1992 in the Hamptons. Harper's Bazaar new editor-in-chief Liz Tilberis kneels on the floor of her family's beach rental. She's 44, tall, and hardly looks the part of a fashion diva. Her blunt-cut hair is prematurely gray, and she wears a size 14 dress, which the British press snidely loves to point out. The fashion industry at large stubbornly thumbs its nose at anyone who doesn't conform to a waif-like silhouette. The final proofs of Tilberis' first issue are neatly laid out in a grid on the terracotta tile. She points to the cover page at the top left and looks up at the magazine's managing editor and art director hovering on either side of her.
What do you think? Does it work?
The cover shows supermodel Linda Evangelista surrounded by white space. Her black lace-clad arm is raised and hides half her face. Her palm playfully nudges the letter A in the word bazaar out of kilter. The only color is the bright red of her lipstick. The cover line reads, "Enter the era of elegance." Tilberis' colleagues' eyes are red with exhaustion. They raced here from New York as soon as the proofs came in from the printer. They've put in weeks of 10-hour days assembling an all-star issue. It features articles on multicultural education and medicine's neglect of women, alongside first-ever photos of model Kate Moss in an American magazine, wearing edgy fashions. The graphic design of the whole issue is an homage to Bazaar in its arty, sophisticated, smart post-war heyday. A return to the Bazaar that former editor-in-chief Carmel Snow called a magazine for well-dressed women with well-dressed minds, and which ran neck and neck with Vogue for decades. The art director places her hand lightly on Tilberis' shoulder.
Liz, I wouldn't change a thing. It's perfect.
Tilberis' career started at British Vogue when she won an internship in college. She worked there for over 20 years and succeeded Wintour as editor-in-chief. Now, she's taking everything she learned at Vogue and using it against them. The new Harper's Bazaar causes a sensation. But Bazaar hasn't bested their rival yet. Vogue is back on the top of the ad page rankings, with Harper's Bazaar in the number 2 spot, and Elle, which blazed like a comet for 3 years and then dragged during the 1991 economic downturn, placing in 3rd. But new competition is brewing that will change the glossy game for good. It's 1994 in Midtown. InStyle magazine editor-in-chief Martha Nelson sits in her spare corner office in Time Inc.'s headquarters across from Radio City Music Hall. She's dressed in a simple black t-shirt
Almost
and
there,
off-the-rack
fam.
black pants.
Almost there.
A former
It's
assistant
on the
managing
other side
editor
of
at People
town,
magazine.
so
She couldn't care less about
appreciate
clothes.
y'all for coming with
She's
me
in a
tonight.
planning meeting with an executive from Time's accounting office and her boss, a top editor at People. She picks up a pen and points at a line item on a spreadsheet on the desk in front of her.
We need to raise the budget for the editor. We can't go with the bottom dollar figure here. She has to be really good if we're going to compete with the big guns like Vogue and Bazaar.
InStyle is a People magazine offshoot and Time's first foray into fashion. Management is betting that their deep access to celebrities will pay off in the red-hot women's magazine market. Network anchor Katie Couric's haircuts are now treated like breaking stories in People. Her boss reaches over Nelson's desk and turns the spreadsheet around to see the figure. Yikes. Seriously, 60,000 isn't enough? And do you really need a whole editor just for beauty? What kind of beat is that? Nelson makes an effort not to roll her eyes at her higher-ups. This is what she's up against at a shop that's never even covered Fashion Week.
Trust me, guys. We need a lot of editors for things you never even dreamed of. I'm also going to need somebody who knows about CD-ROMs and this thing called the internet. Seems like it could be big.
Her boss looks at her blankly. The internet? What's that? In the coming years, InStyle will be one of the first print publications to master digital. Its revolutionary fusion of insider celebrity news and street style will take the shine off all the glosses and threaten to steal Vogue's place as the glitzy belle of the fashion mag mall. If you like Business Wars, you can binge all episodes early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, make sure to tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey. From Wondery, this is episode 1 of Vogue, Once and Forever, for Business Wars. A quick note about recreations you've been hearing. In most cases, we can't know exactly what was said. Those scenes are dramatization, but they're based on historical research. In this episode, we discuss the suicide of a Vogue staffer. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can be reached at 1-800-273-8255. The National Alliance on Mental Illness is available at 800-950-6264. I'm your host, David Brown. Barbara Boguet wrote this story. Our producers are Emily Frost and Grant Rudder. Sound design by Ryan Potesta. Voice acting by Carrie Kavanaugh, Caroline Kinley, and Tessa Stokes. Fact-checking by Will Tavlin. Our managing producer is Desi Blaylock. Our senior managing producer is Ryan Lord. Our senior producers are Karen Lowe and Dave Schiller. Our executive producers are Jenny Lauer-Beckman and Marcia Liu. Support for Business Wars comes from Klaviyo. Klaviyo powers smarter digital relationships. You know that feeling when your favorite brand really gets you? We'll deliver that feeling to your customers every time. Memorable moments like these are key to building your business and your brand. Klaviyo turns your customer data into real-time connections across AI-powered email, SMS, and more, making every moment count so you can continue to build smarter, more meaningful relationships with your customers. Build smarter digital relationships with your customers and make every moment count with Klaviyo. A cold November day in 1933 on Long Island Sound. Fashion editor Carmel Snow stands on a deserted beach in her usual black hat and pearls. After 11 years at Vogue, she's done the unthinkable. Defected to Harper's Bazaar. There just wasn't enough room at the top. Carmel turns to the photographer next to her, who's unpacking his camera bag. This is the first time she's worked with him.
So, what's the plan?
The young photographer is wearing large round eyeglasses that give him an owlish look. He's a former photojournalist from Hungary, but Carmel's taken a big risk in hiring him. he doesn't speak English, and he's never taken a fashion photo in his life. He waves his arm from left to right down the beach and points at the model standing just on the water's edge. Then he stares expectantly at Carmel. "Tell the lady!" Carmel bites her lip in frustration and feels a hint of panic. Harper's Bazaar's December issue is ready to be sent to the printer, but the current cover of models posing in front of a painted backdrop is boring and static, like something that would appear in the more conservative Vogue. Carmel envisions a modern, action-packed look, like the shots the young Hungarian photographer took of children running into the sea. But if he can't nail the shoot today, she'll have disrupted the whole printing schedule and rung up quite a bill for nothing. The model waves her arms at them in confusion. She's an athletic socialite wearing a dark one-piece swimsuit with an attached short cape. Her lips are blue with cold.
What do you want me to do?
The photographer crouches down as if he were a sprinter at the start of a race. He takes off and runs a few yards at full...
Okay. I wasn't expecting that to happen. Alright. Come on. Where are you? Right here. Boom.
Stops, turns, and points at the shivering model by the shoreline. He picks up his new Leica sports camera, raises it to his face, and twirls his free hand in circles like a propeller. "Lady, go!" The model catches on. She laughs and takes off, sprinting down the beach. The cape catches the wind and billows out behind her. Well-defined muscles ripple along her taut thighs. The photographer takes shot after shot. Before the girl even stops to catch her breath, Carmel knows she's got a winner. When the December issue hits the newsstands, the photo of a barely clad woman joyfully running along the beach causes a sensation. Nothing like it has ever appeared in the buttoned-up, studio-bound photo spreads of the fashion journals. It becomes a defining image of the modern American girl. And with it, Harper's Bazaar ignites a daring new look for fashion mags, inspired by cutting-edge Bauhaus artists in Europe and Russia. The shift is made possible by new high-speed cameras using 35mm film, like the Leica, that usher in the age of action shots. Vogue resists the trend, but if it doesn't catch the action wave soon, Harper's
10
Bazaar
more minutes, y'all.
and
10 more
ruthless
minutes
owner William
until we're able to
Randolph
drop
Hearst
off
will
Grubhub
leave
order
Vogue
for
limp and lifeless
KFC.
in their high-speed dynamic wake. If I'm wondering, I'm David Brown, and this is Business Rules.
And I'm in the wrong lane.
In today's world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of content competing for our attention. But let me tell you, Audible is all you need. Audible is the premier destination for audiobooks and original content that's sure to spark your imagination. Next up on my own Audible app is a book by Sierra Greer called Annie Bot. It's a novel that's a completely fresh take on artificial intelligence and
You
all
would
the
think I
hopes
was
and
in the
fears
red
we ascribe
room,
to
all
it.
these red
Sure to
lights I
spark
keep
your own
hitting, y'all.
imagination and maybe rethink some of the things you've heard about AI. And since you're listening to this podcast, well, you might want to check out The Art of Business Wars. Yes, that is on Audible too. Lots of great ideas, especially if you're an entrepreneur. And as an Audible member, every month you'll get to choose one title like either of these to keep for yourself. New members can try Audible now free for 30 days. Head on over to audible.com/BW or text BW to 500-500. That's audible.com/BW or text BW to 500-500 and try Audible free for 30 days. What makes a leader? It's a tough question, but one thing's for sure. A true leader leads by example, and a true leader takes risks too. They plunge into life with determination. For those who lead by example and approach life with a palpable passion, there's the Range Rover Sport. Sophisticated refinement meets visceral power in the Range Rover Sport, a new dimension of sporting luxury. With their adaptive off-road cruise control, you can monitor ground conditions and acclimate to the present terrain. Plus, adaptive dynamics reduces unwanted body movements to deliver smooth and composed handling. Build your Range Rover Sport at LandRoverUSA.com. Visit LandRoverUSA.com to configure your Range Rover Sport. Explore the Range Rover Sport at LandRoverUSA.com. In the last episode, Cosmopolitan's top editor Helen Gurley Brown faced down waves of 70s-era activists protesting her outdated sexual politics. And a snazzy redesign at Harper's Bazaar shot the magazine back up the ranks to second place behind Vogue. Meanwhile, the magazine's latest editor-in-chief, Anna Wintour, traded out elegance for youth and celebrity, squelching the successful new U.S. edition of Elle magazine. Once again, Vogue was in the catbird seat on the runway. Now, we're flashing back to the 1930s. In 1933, Hitler's Nazi Party rules Germany, and anti-Semitism and rumors of a second war in Europe are spreading rapidly. Soon, Paris will be forced to shut down its haute couture houses, and America will become the new source of high fashion. With photographers and journalists fleeing the unrest across the Atlantic, both Vogue and Harper's Bazaar benefit from the influx of talent. Editor Carmel Snow is taking advantage of the fresh blood to usher in a new era of style and gloss to Harper's Bazaar's pages. It's the fiercest period of competition the two rivals have faced yet. This is Episode 2, Astonish Me. It's 1937 in New York City. Vogue editor Edna Chase drives a Ford sedan over the magnificent new Triborough Bridge on her way to work. She's 60 years old, white-haired and sensibly dressed in a black cotton shirt dress. She's worried about the tensions in Europe and how she will fill the magazine if the world once again descends into war. Chase cranes her neck to marvel at the bridge's imposing steel towers and the long sweep of the suspension cables. It reminds her of the photos she's seen of the newly opened Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco and the Hoover Dam. She imagines these huge projects and the impressive new parkways crisscrossing
Grubhub just gave me a Chipotle order for $12 and change to drive. Almost back towards where it came from, but on the side of town I don't want to be on
right
per
in her
se.
backyard.
So I'm not going to do
A vague
it.
idea starts to form in her mind as she navigates the midtown traffic. Chase arrives at the Vogue offices at 420 Lexington Avenue and barges into Condé Nast's office.
Condé, I have an idea for a special issue. We should do one about America, about the beauty, industriousness, and homegrown fashions of our own country.
Nast looks up from his desk covered with correspondence and accounting tables. He's 64 and gray around the temples. He's aged visibly since the stock market crash. Interesting, Edna. We've done special issues, but we've never focused on our own country. I think the angle would go over well with the advertising department. You know, nothing sells like patriotism in troubled times. Vogue's Americana issue debuts in February the following year, featuring an introduction by novelist Tom Wolfe. It sells out in days at newsstands around the country. So much positive mail pours in that it becomes
Alright,
an
looks
annual
like I
feature.
might be going to these
That
apartments.
year, Vogue's total circulation,
Either these
including
apartments or this
international
hospital
editions, hits
that's
a new
right
peak
over
of more
here.
than 300,000, while
double
Harper's
check here in
Bazaar
a second.
trails at just over 200.
Since I'm gonna be at
But
another
Condé Nast
red
takes
light.
no comfort from his success. He's been secretly suffering for more than a year from cancer, as well as a serious heart condition. Only his secretary knows about his failing health. During bad attacks, she gives him oxygen from a tank she hides behind a filing cabinet in his office. In the summer of 1942, Condé Nast dies of a heart
Okay,
attack.
so yes.
The night before his death, he names the manager of Paris Vogue as his successor as president.
I'm going to some apartments
Vogue's in
that are
capable
over here
hands.
beside
And
the
Carmel Snow at Harper's
hospital.
Bazaar is more than capable. She's unstoppable. It's a bitterly cold morning in December 1944 in eastern France. Carmel Snow rides in the passenger seat of a dilapidated Renault sedan. At the wheel, the young photographer Henri Cartier-Bresson steers them through the devastated countryside. They're not far from Belgium's Western Front, where U.S. forces battled the Nazis' brutal offensive at the Battle of the Bulge. Carmel is 57, wearing her usual pearls and black high heels, despite traveling through war-torn Europe. She's come to recently liberated Paris for an upcoming story on the Red Cross. Carmel points to some mottled mounds in a field.
Henri, stop. What is that?
Bresson pulls the car over. Shell craters pit the field. He and Carmel stumble across the hard ruts in the frozen earth. They stop in horror in front of a pile of bloated dead cows. The stench overwhelms them. Carmel takes a perfumed handkerchief out of her purse and holds it over her nose.
Oh, how awful. They must have wandered onto landmines.
Bresson's seen far worse during his time in the French underground, before he was captured by Germans and spent almost 3 years as a prisoner in a Nazi war camp. He stamps out a cigarette and raises his Leica camera to his face. It'll be a challenge showing images like these next to Dior gowns. Carmel takes a small pad and pencil out of her purse and jots down notes about the scene in the nearby bombed-out church, with only 2 walls and a crumbling steeple remaining. On their drive, they pass countless silent villages devoid of life. Houses, stables, barns, blown to bits. This is why she made this dangerous trip. Americans have to see how badly Europe needs them. Bresson's moving photos appear in the March 1945 issue of Harper's Bazaar, interspersed with shots from the new Paris collections. Somehow, Carmel and the art director managed to artfully weave in the fashion images to create a life-affirming photo essay encompassing both horror and beauty, despair, as well as joy. But new competition is on the horizon. It's fall 1946 in Lower Manhattan. Elena Gordon-Lazareff crouches on the sidewalk next to a photographer in front of the famous triangular flatiron building on Fifth Avenue.
for $11.23.
She's 37 and tiny,
That's
with a blonde
$6
bob
a
haircut
piece.
and bright red lipstick. She gazes up
Not
at a model
necessarily
posing in a
worth the
rib-hugging ocean blue jersey cardigan with broad padded shoulders and a full skirt. The model holds a squirming calico cat in her arms.
Louise, stop slouching. And hold that cat tight so it can't move. Now, look to your left as if you're searching the crowds for your handsome lover.
The photographer lies down on his back on the dirty concrete to capture more of the striking building's sharp, angled facade looming over the model in her blue pillbox hat. Yes, just like that. Now, hold the cat up to you and kiss its nose. Oh, good. Great. Fantastic. Gordon Lazareff is a Russian Jew whose family emigrated to Paris. She fled the war and worked as a journalist in New York for the New York Times, Vogue, and
These
Harper's
are
Bazaar.
fairly new.
Her husband has just returned to Paris to run a major city newspaper, and he's raised money for her to start a new women's magazine, the first to feature color photos. She plans to name it Elle, after her first name as it's pronounced in French. Now, she's rushing to shoot as many cover shots as possible before she leaves the U.S., because the new expensive color film isn't available yet in Europe. Gordon Lazareff counts off the number of photos on her fingers as the photographer takes the shots. She glances down at the clipboard and taps the photographer lightly on the shoulder.
That's enough. Remember, we're shooting 15 covers this week. I don't want to run out of this precious color film.
40 years from now, an American edition of her brainchild will hit the stands in the U.S. Elle's attitude, carefree, playful, and accessible, but also high fashion, will bring both Harper's Bazaar and Vogue to their stick-thin knees.
All right, give me a second. I'll be right back, y'all. All right. Just drop that off. All right. Might go across the street to go to real quick. To go to the dollar store. We will see. It's been 2 hours, almost 2 hours. I might go on and let y'all go here in a few minutes. We're gonna see what happens. It's really getting chilly. Alright. Luckily I brought a hoodie and stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna pause Grubhub for a minute.
Whether you're scouring business financial sites or listening to economics podcasts like this one till your ears ring, you'll find there's no surefire secret to successfully managing your company's finances for the future. Turns out, you might just need to pair with PNC Corporate and Institutional Banking, whose team of dedicated relationship managers bring 160 years of experience, pragmatic advice, and an array of tools and tech to scale to any size business. In fact, they're so tuned into what you need, they knew you'd be listening to this podcast. As for that ringing in your ears, that's the brilliant sound of success. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC and PNC Bank are registered marks of the PNC Financial Services Group, Inc. PNC. Copyright 2024, the PNC Financial Services Group, Inc. All rights reserved. We spend a lot of our lives at work. It's time to find ways to enjoy it. Canva makes work more visual, more productive, and dare we say it, more fun. With Canva, you can design captivating presentations, docs, whiteboards, and videos. Wow your audience and achieve your goals whatever department you work in. Canva makes you and your
Alright,
work
so I'm going to this
great.
shopping
No
center
design
over here. There's a
experience
Target, a
You'll love what you
Joann's,
can
a
easily design
gym. They
with
got
Canva,
apartments.
and so will
We
everyone
got a little
else.
bit of everything over
Love
here.
your work
Movie
at
theater,
canva.com.
Dollar Tree. I'm gonna go to the Dollar Tree over here.
It's 1955 in New York's Fashion District. Designer Jeffrey Bean bends to look through a peephole that gives him a view of a showroom where a model's wearing one of his designs. Bean's only 27, and he's not allowed to appear in the room full of important magazine editors and garment trade professionals. He spots Harper's Bazaar editor Carmel Snow and grabs the arm of the designer next to him in excitement. I can see Carmel Snow's blue hair. This could be my big break. But wait. It looks like she's asleep. Bean's fairly new to the company, but the designer is an old-timer. He grins. Don't worry, she's like a cat. She somehow sleeps with one eye open. Or maybe she just pretends to be asleep so the Vogue people can't see what she likes. What a freak. They say she survives on 3 martinis for lunch and B12 vitamin shots. Bean keeps his eye glued to the peephole. What a character. But I still think I bombed. I finally got something of mine in front of the only person in New York who matters, and I bored her into a coma. Ugh. But Bean's colleague was right. Even with her eyes closed, Carmel can spot talent. She chooses one of Bean's designs, a simple belted jersey suit with a Peter Pan collar, to open their all-important September issue. That single appearance in Bazaar launches Bean's career. Carmel Snow is now so powerful, she can...
Okay, so I have Grubhub and DoorDash paused because I'm trying to get in here and go into the dollar store real quick. I am gonna double check and make sure okay, so that's working. What about okay. this thing, I swear. Okay. And ooh, $2 bonus up until 10 o'clock at DoorDash. Okay. I might cut DoorDash back on as soon as I'm done buying some stuff. DoorDash has a $2 bonus going on right now up in one part up on the side of town I'm on, but it's only until 10 o'clock, so I have a little over an hour. And then Grubhub is nothing special. Grubhub doesn't really ever have anything special going on, so it is what it is. All right, so it looks like it's been 2 hours. I'm gonna go on and let y'all go so my phone can charge. Depending on what happens, if it randomly slows down, like I haven't been too happy with some of the apps this week. So worst come to worst, I just end up calling it a night after I go to the dollar store and go to the office and maybe start streaming me making blankets and stuff in a little while tonight, or use one of my other accounts and have me just play some Halloween games or something, and then start up fresh tomorrow morning. Because as long as I do good Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the next 3 days, I'm delicious. I don't want to say some of them other crazy words, but I'll be delicious. And depending on what happens, I would like to bring y'all with me. I just got to make sure I got enough portable chargers and stuff, because my IRL setup is not working, so I'm gonna have to get a newer hotspot and try some other things as well. I don't know what I want to do. I can either get a hotspot or I can do a couple other things. I don't know yet. Let me put you right here. There we go. So, but yeah, whoever watches this as a replay, thank you. I'm gonna try to do more streams. It just feels weird because I'm using my phone versus the camcorder I use to make the videos. So I have to get used, if I do this more often until I get my IRL set up, I have to get used to live streaming with the phone on and off for a little while in certain places and everything. Like I'll show you the restaurants and stuff, and then I would just realistically keep the phone in the car while when I go and drop it off at the house, so nobody can be like, oh, say anything about the house or whatever. But if I'm doing Jive or Jive, which used to be Axel Hire, then since that's a package delivery place, I probably do that a little differently. I don't do Amazon Flex or Uber Eats anymore. And what is the other one? Toro, or the other packaging company. I applied, but they keep on coming back to me saying, oh, your stuff is wrong. I'm like, what is wrong about my stuff? And then when I send them that kind of email, they're like, oh, you're good. So I don't think they know what they're talking about, but I'm not even going to worry about it. So, but yeah, YouTube, Twitch, and DLive, I appreciate y'all this evening. I hope y'all have a good one. I'm going to try my best to do more live streams so I can get the feel of, streaming this way until I can get my IRL setup done. And just get used to it and everything, because I really, really want to try to get some things done before the holidays are out. get some things done before the holidays are out and stuff. So until next time, y'all, I hope y'all have a good evening, and cheers, peace, much love, and respect. The cheese puff. Respect the cheese puff. Ah! Till next time. Peace.